All right, what's going on this evening? Native, Ohio Prepper, and Reaper, thank you for coming and joining us. Are we 5x5? Can you hear us, see us, all that good stuff? Heartland's got to step out for a quick minute. He's got something to take care of, and then
business.
He'll be right
Just
back.
Quick business. I gotta go pee. Sorry. Hold on.
You're all good, brother. All right, well, while he's gone, I'm going to kind of go ahead and just hop into some things while instead of sitting here quietly waiting for him to come back. I'm going to, since we're talking about tonight, we're doing the hindsight on like an ATM robbery. I'm just going to touch base on like a little town that's near me. So it's 2,500 people roughly that's near me. And so it's pretty small. And we've had some interesting things that have happened over the last couple of years anyway. So, Ghetto, what's up, brother? Anyways, like just May 14th of this year, sorry, last year, of last year, there is a man that was a convicted felon that broke into somebody's home, robbed them, and attempted to rob a couple other people because nobody really knew who he was or had any information on him or anything like that. So the guy broke into a home here in this town close to me and then got away with that one robbery. And he broke into another home later on, it says like a week later. And this time they got a good description of the guy and he didn't make it very far. They caught him and he went in with a $500,000 bond. So that's just one example of in a small town there that, you know, we obviously have some crime too. So there's two other stories to go along with this just to tie in with, you know, crime's crime or whatever. So the previous year before that, we had a guy that randomly was shooting people in our town. He shot and injured two civilians, and he got into a small altercation with the police, and he shot and injured two of them, I believe. And then later on, when he was hunkered down in his house, they had a SWAT team from several different cities. There was 4 or 5 different cities, counties that were involved with this. The whole little town was kind of quarantined off. You couldn't get into town or out of town without going through an officer. The standoff lasted, like 2 or 3 hours before he came out peacefully. Basically, they were telling him that they were going to, ram the door down, do whatever it was going to take to get him out of there. And he finally came out of the house. And, of course, it was the typical firearm, one of the typical firearms somebody would use to do something. So there was even in this small town, little rural area, there was some fuss about these particular firearms because you don't need them to go deer hunting, et cetera, things like that, which kind of took me off guard a little bit, I guess you'd say, because I didn't expect people around this area to really think like that or say something like that. I mean, it's not like the guy wrapped off 30 rounds every time he stopped the vehicle. He could have done it with a single shot 22, basically, the way he was going about it, other than when he, got into a little standoff or whatever. So anyways, then what was it? 1 year before that, we had a guy that shot 2 police officers, killed one, severely injured another one. And he also was held up in his house for several hours with police, SWAT team, and all that stuff there, and he was held up in a town that literally has like 200 people in it. So the crime rate doesn't matter. The size of the town is what I'm getting to. That's not even counting these other towns that are around me. This is just one town straight south of my place that has had these few crimes in the last 3 years. And so it's all around you, basically, is what I'm getting at before we roll into this ATM deal. Doesn't matter how big or small the town is, shit can happen. So just kind of keep yourselves aware of that. And I'm going to apologize now, Harlan, and everybody here. I am going to be checking my phone a lot every time it goes off. We are expecting another grandbaby here real soon, any day. She's overdue right now. So Every time this phone makes a noise, I'm going to be looking at it.
Absolutely.
And
Good for you.
yeah, and if something happens and she goes into labor, the light will probably stay on because I'm probably going to be just grabbing all my stuff and heading out the door.
Right.
And then I'll try to shut it off going down the road or whatever.
I'll hold down the fort. You just leave it going, and I can focus on what the situation is. You know, and keep it involved with what we're doing, and you do your thing. You don't worry about us.
Yeah.
You take care of the family, man.
I'll just stack you up the dash so y'all can see if there's any deer that run out in front of me if I smoke my own way by.
So yeah, if you
Thanks, Ohio
disappear,
Prepper.
you disappear and the live stream keeps going, I'll do my best to keep it, entertaining, and informative. That way, people get the best out of both worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were talking about something about I was gone. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
But I heard you mention something about someone shooting some guns and things like that, and people freaking out. Back in my hometown in Washington. So now I'm in Kansas now, and I'm not in Washington, but in my hometown, there's a Fred Meyer's that I used to frequent, and just 2 days ago, some dude went postal and just started opening fire on people. It was an active shooter. He killed one person, and this was 2 days ago. He killed one person. There's another guy in the hospital in critical condition, and then there's another person who's wounded, and he just randomly started shooting people. I don't know what yet is going on, but I've got 3 brothers up there. My mom's up there, in that area, not the same town, but they're within 15 miles or 20 minutes of that location, and the guy is still on the loose. So that we're going to get into the situational awareness and observing type of thing, because I think this is going to really dovetail nicely about how important it is to be just aware and not get stuck into this routine that Americans are stuck in. And everybody is guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. And I want to stop doing some of those routine things that puts me vulnerable, to situations. And I'm no I'm no Green Beret. I'm no Special Forces guy. And that's kind of like the disclaimer to this, is that I'm no professional, but seeing what's happening and getting myself more trained and keeping the training, let's say, keeping it fresh, keeping the training fresh is going to be the most important thing that we do, because it is literally a skill that will atrophy, or you will lose it if you don't use it. You will lose it. I'm kidding.
I can vouch for that, even on just a boxing aspect. If you're not using it regularly, if you're not using it regularly, you will lose it.
Right.
So I still play around and spar around a little bit here and there with my son-in-law and stuff, but I can tell from just years and years and years, like 20 plus years of not really throwing hands or anything like that, other than just in like a self-defense situation, but or an idiot situation, I guess, on some points. But like in a training aspect of it, it's you're super rusty. And like for me, like the speed I thought I had, it's not there. Like I thought I had it. Now, once my old arms get kind of worked up and get some blood flow to them, you get a little bit faster. But if you're not practicing this stuff every day, whether it be self-defense with your hands or self-defense with a firearm, whatever, like you're talking about, man, you are going to lose it, and that became very real.
Right. Repetitive drilling nature, and just doing things repetitively is going.
Virginia, what's up?
I heard natives in the house.
Yes, sir.
Native, what's up? Thank you for joining.
Oh, I lost you there, man. No sound, Heartland. If you can hear me, you have no sound. Should I just sit here silently with you and just make it super awkward and just keep waiting? Hutch, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Random JL, everybody, thank y'all for hopping over and checking us out for a minute. Uh, Heartland's having some technical difficulties right now, which makes me feel a lot better, actually, Heartland. If you can still hear me, it makes me feel a lot better because I'm usually the one that has issues with, service or, something going on like that. And I'm usually the one that falls on that one. So hopefully we can get you back here soon. Stuart, our Kansas living. I still can't hear you there, Heartland. You might try hopping out, and I can pull you right back in. We'll see if that works. All right, man. Ark living, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Stuart, thank you guys for hopping in. Yes, sir. This is where you came for the stick-up training. Do not follow any of our advice. We do not have a clue what we are actually doing. We're just shooting from the hip, and if we tried to save ourselves in this type of situation, I know I would probably end up dead. So don't listen to anything I say.
How about now?
Boom, got you there.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was just warning everybody not to listen to anything I said. That's for sure. If we do
I got a phone call. My daughter needs a ride home from a basketball game, but I think my wife's going to go get her. So we're good. Atrophying skills. I don't know where we left off, but with a judo background like mine, you had a boxing background. If you don't use it, you will lose it. So keep the training. Keep it. Don't be intensive about it, because I know some people, like, they got they have their lives. They have to do things, and they have to fit their training into a schedule, but do it. Do it. Fit it in a little bit, 15 minutes, put yourself under stress, and take care of the business that way. And I'm gonna get right into it here, because I want to keep this brief, relatively brief, but still just as informative as our other hindsights. And so what I've done is I've gone through and researched as much as I can based on FBI statistics, and I was looking at news articles, and I was just, page after page on Google. Just all I did was type in armed robbery at ATM machines. Okay, that's all I had to do. And the list kept going and going and going. And what I decided was that it'd be a good idea to find relevant cases, time, date, and within a year or two. So from 2020 to 2021, I started compiling, and I got to 7, and then I said, okay, that's probably good enough, because the list kept going. So it's really spiking. Okay. And so here's something from in 2020, the Los Angeles Police Department says that the pandemic has caused a spike in crime at ATMs. Okay. They've seen a 70% rise in crimes reported at ATMs compared to previous years. So 70% climb in crimes at ATMs in previous years. This is based on the LA Los Angeles Police Department. Okay, that's one state. Okay, that one state, that's a huge increase. So I was looking. Okay, Texas is number one in crimes on happening at ATMs. During the riots, the big riots after Saint Floyd, that really kicked off a lot of ATM, because crime or criminal elements use the opportunity of the riots and of those things to kind of isolate and pick off some of those things. So Chicago was hit really hard. Houston was hit really hard. Lot of places that saw most of the rioting. These ATM machines were either looted or afterward they would keep an eye on it, because they know the criminal mind has changed and is kind of turned its predator type mind towards that's where good money is, because a lot of people would rather deposit money. Now that you can deposit money at ATMs, people will deposit money at ATMs instead of going into the bank. And Uber drivers getting off at late at night, you have all kinds of scenarios where it makes it easy for people to do business with the bank at all hours now. So now criminal minds have figured out this. So it makes a lot of targets easy targets. And so here's another study, and this one's from the University of Central Arkansas Police Department Academy. The most dangerous time, the dangerous hours of ATM crime occur around 7 p.m. to midnight. So, and that is that's an approximation of 40% of ATM related crimes. So, so they did the research there, and here's something that I've compiled, and I've only done 7 because the list continued. And I didn't want to bore people with numbers and things. So I went by date, time, suspect, and what they had, the victim, and the location. So,
okay.
Okay. 5:30 p.m. In 2020, 2 people with guns. They robbed 2 technicians at a Chicago ATM while they were working on the ATM, and they made away with about $100,000. Okay, those suspects still out, still on the run. 2021 at 5:30 p.m., 1 guy with a gun. I'm going to hold off on that one. Okay, 2021, 5:30, 3 guys, 2 guns, 1 knife, and there was an Uber driver, and he was depositing money, and this was in Queens. Okay, 2021, 8:30 a.m., 1 guy with a gun. It was a drive-up ATM in Houston. And he did what he wanted. He's on the run. Every one of these guys are still on the run. 2022, 7:30 p.m., 1 guy, he had a gun, drive-up ATM, Ohio. 2021, 11:30 p.m., 1 guy with a gun, and there was a woman in California. 2021, 5:22 a.m., 1 guy with a gun. He held up a 73-year-old in Virginia. So in the list, like I said, the list continued on, and I was like, man, this is so crazy. because this is all 2022. I mean, 2021 was a month and a few days ago, and this is it's the shit is continuing. So we need to be aware of this stuff, right? We need to be. I want to bring this whole hindsight back to reality, back to now with you, AJ, and I want to cover a situation based on one that I skipped over because it's relevant. It's all relevant
Okay.
to now, to us, to everybody listening. So here we are. Okay. It's 11:30 at night, and you're a security guard. I'm not going to give his name because his name hasn't been given. It's still under investigation. This happened in 2021, and so the security guard is out securing an ATM, and he's guarding it, and he's locking it up for the night. It's 11:30 at night, and he is overwhelmed and he is wrestled, and his firearm is taken from him. He is then held at gunpoint and forced to fill black bags with money from the ATM that he is securing. The suspect got away with all the money, and I do believe this happened in Chicago as well. So you're in Chicago. It's a heavily trafficked area, even at 11:30 at night. That it's near a freeway, from what I remember, and the assailant ambushed him, came out of nowhere, wrestled him, took his gun, held him at gunpoint, told him he would execute him if he did not fill the bags. The guy complied, filled the bags, did the things, and he's alive to tell the story when he's allowed to, I guess. I don't know how these things work when it's a situation where it's under investigation. I'm sure you can't talk about it very much because it puts you at risk. So I would lay that to you in a hindsight situation. If you were a security guard and you were there and you had just got jumped, you had no idea it was coming. You just got jumped. You got wrestled to the ground. The guy took your firearm. Okay? At that point, what are you going to do when he tells you to do these things? Right?
Hide your face from all the cameras. Shit. Yeah. And so before I get into that, just what's up, Backwoods, everybody else that's in here, thanks. And thanks for all the comments. So I've seen a common trend here, which is very true. Now, this isn't true for the security guard, but yeah, don't go to the bank or an ATM in the dark, if at all possible.
Yeah,
while it's holy, just stay away from them in the dark.
It's good to know.
I live in a little town.
It's good to know that everybody watching right now in the comments and commenting has common sense.
Yeah.
Really good to know. Because we're going to touch on some of that shit too, let me tell you.
Yeah, because that is great. And yeah, so not going hindsight. We're going with right then that situation. I already screwed up. Somebody grabbed me, wrestled me down to the ground. I did my best trying to keep the firearm. I can't remember what they call it, but the arm you put out that you're trying to keep them away from you. You're staging that arm out there to try to keep them away from you. He should have been doing that in the first place. I don't know what side he got attacked from. If there's some video footage, I'd like to see it. I don't know what side he got attacked from to where he could.
I I
Okay.
looked and looked. I looked and looked, and there's no video footage yet. I think the thing is still is pretty hot. It's a pretty hot
Okay.
topic, and there's not going to be much. And that's really what I wanted. But this will be fine. You'll be fine.
Okay, yeah. See, I try to get that arm out there and stage that arm to where I got some control of the distance. But if I'm already on the ground getting wrestled down because I screwed up and I wasn't paying attention, I hate to say it like that. I ain't trying to downgrade the guy. I mean, we're all human. We all, stuff happens. Maybe the guy snuck up in such a fashion that no matter what you did, he couldn't have seen him. I don't know. But if he did get me and I'm already on the ground, we tussled around. He ended up getting my firearm from me, and he's telling me to put that money in the bag. That money ain't mine, for one. For two, even if it is my money, my life is worth more than a couple dollar bills. I'm fairly certain my wife would agree with me.
Yeah.
But I'm certain she'd rather me come home at night. And that's, to me, I think the guy did exactly everything right. He put the money in the bag. He did what he was told. He was able to go on and tell the tale about it at some point in his life. So, yeah, I would have done the exact same thing. It's not my money. Even if it was my money, not worth trying to get shot over. Now, would I have probably fought a little harder if it was my money? Oh, yeah. I'm still going to fight hard because I got a firearm on me. He's going to take it away from me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like he was kind of at the losing end of the stick. So once they got a firearm and you're at the business end of that, it's probably best if you're not highly trained and not by that dust guy. What is that? Detroit urban whatever training. I don't know if you guys have seen anything about that guy. Don't get trained by him, but if you have actual training, then yeah, you may. I guess you could try then at that point, depending on how the gun was oriented and everything like that. I think I'd be pretty leery about it because I've seen too many of the other videos where they think they're doing something right and then whoop, they're up there in the clouds, trying to talk their way into the pearly gates. So yeah, give that money up. Hopefully the cameras caught him. Obviously, they didn't do a very good job of catching him because he's still out on the loose. So, yeah, I'll go with that. The guy did everything in his power. Just judging from not being able to see a video or anything like that. What would you do in that particular situation?
Yeah, in that situation, the assailant has wrestled me down, took my gun. I'm going to comply. And I'm going to do what he wants me to do because now he's got the power, right? Now he thinks he has the power. But staying calm is going to be my MO, right? Calm. Okay, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to give you what you want, but I'm going to be observing your behavior. If you're looking anywhere else, I might look for an advantage. I might be trying to look for an advantage on a person who's already got, the upper. He has the tactical advantage because he has got the firearm in his mind. Now he's the power guy, but how much training does he have with that, right? How much understanding does he know about my own firearm, right? Is there one in the chamber? He doesn't know that. Is it on safety? Does he know how to operate the safety? I don't think he might not know that, because he didn't have time to sit there and identify and look at the gun. It's like, oh, this is this gun, and I know how to operate this thing. So
that's a good point.
So that's where I'm kind of like where my mind is as the security guard. I'm going to be doing the things that you want me to do because you have my gun. Mm-hmm. In all situations, I'm going to be doing the things to keep my self-preservation. Right. But I'm going to be looking for those opportunities where he's going to make a mistake. In this situation, he got away, but that doesn't negate the fact that I'm going to be looking up for opportunistic circumstances where he's going to be doing things, especially as a security guard. Hopefully he wasn't just hired from McDonald's or Burger King and fit the profile. of what a
Unfortunately, I think
security guard should
right.
be. But I digress on that. Yeah, I'm going to live to be able to explain to my wife what happened. It's not my money, and I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be GI Joe and try to be a hero when when those things are happening. Especially if it was my damn fault that I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he lived. I'm glad that he wasn't killed. It's a
Yeah.
damn shame that these individuals and all these reports that I read off are still running around. They're still predators, and there's so many of them, which just like blew my mind, that they're all running around out there still
Right.
praying.
Yep.
Now they've got experience. Now that they're doing other things, man, and now they've got a shit ton of money too, because they made
Well,
off
yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Now they can upgrade their gear. Now they can upgrade their contacts, their their organization. They can
Yep.
do all
Exactly.
these things that they can improve their ability to prey more. So, man, I'm just like, this has got to be talked about.
Yeah, I think it's a good one to bring up. I
It's
mean,
got to
there's
be.
like active self protection. They call them like accessory to mugging is what they call it ATM. It's
Yeah.
quite interesting because there is a ridiculous amount of videos out there and information on ATMs, and it's daylight doesn't matter. People
Right.
they don't
Daylight.
care, man.
One
And
of them. One of them was there was a dude, and he jacked three people at gunpoint at like 5:30 in the afternoon.
mm,
He was hiding in a tree that was right near the ATM. This guy thought he was a ninja, but the people drove up to the ATM, and this is different from walk-up ATMs because I mean, this is a little sidestep to what we're really. We could get into that, the difference between a walk-up ATM and a drive-up, because you have an escape, you have some cover, relative cover, because you're in a vehicle, the door
right,
provides cover, those things provide a little bit of cover, but the perpetrator knows where you are, and if they're armed, they can shoot through windows. So it's a
right,
relative cover. But nevertheless, it gives you an advantage over a situation, even if you absolutely have to go to one in that area. But
right.
I was watching this one where they have it on video. This guy's trying to climb a tree. He hides in a fucking tree like a ninja, but he's completely exposed. And the people drive up, don't even look at him. And he creeps up behind their vehicles and waits for them to put the card in the machine. And he runs up on him with a revolver. And he did it to three people. Like, how? How was that? Why are the people so oblivious to it that they're just like, oh, there's a wacko. I'm gonna continue to go and do my business at the ATM with a weirdo sitting in a tree over here. It's just mind blowing. So
To
that's
me, I think a lot of people just assume that the folks around them aren't going to do them no harm, especially if it's daylight or other people around or you're in front of
yes,
something.
do them
You
no
just
harm.
get that false sense of security, and you don't really think about, what's this dude doing? Like, say a guy just walking up, kind of creeping up on you. What's this dude doing? I think people just get so used to that's where you get really complacent with it. I
Right,
mean,
right.
um,
And and
it's truly hard.
and there's another thing is about the people who see danger often don't even look at it because they don't want it to be there, because
Right.
they will look away from it and pretend that it doesn't exist, because if you don't look at it, it's not there. And I've seen this with a lot of muggings, a lot of jacking, a lot of like people who are oblivious to stuff when the threat is cutting them off. I've literally watched videos where the person who's going to do them harm is walking right to them and the person is looking straight forward away from that. There's no glance over to the person, no eye contact, nothing. They're like, you should see a person out of your peripheral vision, which isn't even that. This guy's like, he's cutting you off. Watch these videos where the people don't give it a second guess. Like, maybe if I don't look at him, he won't notice me, or maybe he's going, we're just gonna like, oh, oops, in the middle of a parking lot and like dance around each other like there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Okay, you are the victim. Look at the fucker. At least look at him. There's movement. Yeah. Look at it.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah. There's actually.
I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
You're good. No, keep it rolling, man. That's fine. There's actually a name for that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there's a guy that makes videos, Hard to Kill, and actually there's a name for that, and he's mentioned it before, where people will see a threat, whether it be armed or disarmed. It's just somebody wanting to get violent or whatever, or starting to do things with their hands too much. You'll see that and you'll recognize that threat. And a lot of people will eyes away from it. And there's a name for it, but it goes along to fight or flight. And he's saying there's a majority of the people are wired to want to avoid it at all costs, and even if at all costs, it means they end up getting, hurt because they thought they were avoiding something. Some people are just hardwired that way.
Right. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to try to find that video and find
even though, it's fine, but you're gonna have people like that. When you have when you have a nation of people who are able to defend themselves and a superpower like ours, which it really is a superpower because we have the rights to defend ourselves.
Right.
There's going to be people who become complacent really easy because they, in the back of their mind, there's a rescue crew coming if there's a bad thing that happens. There's a 911. There's a there's a good citizen that might do something. There is, this and that, and there's all this technology. There's everything, right? So they're gonna be just, all right, it's fine. I'll be fine. And if I don't, someone's gonna take care of this guy because there's these people I've heard of that have concealed weapons and they'll be there, or the police will be there, and there's cameras everywhere. Things will be fine. That's not a threat. Okay, stop with that. And there's one more thing. People, if you guys are guilty of this, I want you to please stop doing this. And I'm guilty of it because I've done this before. Stop leaving your vehicle running at gas stations, or when you pull up to a place and you're like, I'm just going to be in and out. Stop leaving the keys in there and stop leaving it running. Because that's on the rise too. Carjackings at gas stations are way up too. Because that was one of the other things I was like, oh crap, ATMs. Oh, and gas station stuff. All right. Targets of opportunity. Everybody's becoming really, really soft. Really like, not soft. In our community, I'm not going to say we're soft because if you're listening, you're probably already in the mind of self-protection, awareness. I don't have to preach to you guys about that stuff. But if you know people who do, please encourage them to stop leaving cars running, or just be a little bit more aware of what's going on around you. And it's just observation takes 10 seconds. Takes 10 seconds. So let's go to a hindsight real quick.
That's what I was going to say. You're saying observation takes 10 seconds. This is perfect to lead into a hindsight.
Let's go with an observation. Hindsight. You're the security guard. Bam, go. Nothing's happened yet. it's your night.
Right. So, like you just said, observation. I have no training of any kind as far as security goes or anything like that, but just from what I've been trying to learn from people around me or self training, it's not that hard to. It doesn't seem that hard to, especially if you got like time frames. It would be hard if it was like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I could see where you could easily fall into a not surveying around good. But if you're working, say, 7 at night to 7 in the morning on a shift as a security guard, you should be focused on your job. This is your living, this is your life, your livelihood. Everything is depending on this right here. So you should be head on a swivel, surveying, very detail oriented, kind of checking places and staying away from places that could easily allow somebody to, sneak up to you or, catch your back or something. If you're going over to somewhere where somebody could be hiding, you probably should have your light up, not necessarily hand on your gun, but, at least near it to where it's a quick pick on it. Those types of things would all be on my mind, and I'd be constantly, I would think anyways, like I said, I don't do this at all. And I've done some little minor training with some friends and stuff like that have, expertise in something like this. And so they've helped me to kind of learn some of this. And it seems like a good theory that when you're doing this, and especially if you are the only one that has your back, try to keep it to where if you're walking with your back towards something, you can, kind of always be turning and looking over your shoulder. Can you do that 12 hours a day? Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
But that gun also, how was that gun contained? I mean, if I'm open carrying, which I very, very, very rarely ever do, it's going to have, a pretty serious latch over the top with a heavy button on it, something that if somebody gets a hold of that thing, they're going to have to put some work in before they get it out of there anyways. And if somebody's got my gun trying to pull on it, I'm going to have so I carry on my right hand side. So on my left hand side, there's something that's going to be sharp and pointy that's going to be coming right at you as soon as possible. So that would be another hindsight, is make sure you have another weapon, possibly even a second firearm on your person. If you're doing this type of a job, you should probably have backup weapons and stuff. So, have your gun, your firearm on one side, your get off being knife on the other side, and hopefully if somebody grabs onto that firearm or tries to pull on it, hopefully you've got it secured enough to where you can at least get your hand on their hand, maybe, to try to control the upward pull on there to where you could come across and be able to maybe inflict some damage on them and put them at a offensive position, a defensive position rather than the offensive position. And I don't know if he had anywhere he could have radioed to, but if not, keep your cell phone handy. Surely you could have an emergency call on there. If you're a security guard, there should be a way you could emergency call and not even just hit the button and be able to let it ring through and do its thing. I would think you could do something like that anyways. So I try to do that, and I try to talk the company into maybe doubling up. I mean, I don't think security guards make a whole lot, so maybe they could double up and have a buddy system type of thing. And shit, that's about the best I could do on a hindsight. I wasn't able to find any videos on it, so the guy could have totally got side blinded to where there was no hindsight to it. But I think, if you can keep some distance from bad areas or what would be bad areas, and just keep your head on a swivel and have some extra tools at your disposal. So if somebody does get a hold of something, you've got something to fight back with.
Right.
But that being said, as soon as your firearm gets taken, you better get, pretty compliant unless you're, highly trained, I would think. So that'd be my best bet on the hindsight. What about you, man?
Hindsight. As soon as my shit, and I'm not a security guy. But my mind is wired a little bit around that, because because of just based on situational awareness alone. My responsibility to myself and in my surroundings is going to be like dictate what happens. So as soon as my shift starts, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to be talking to some of the other security guards, and like any weird shit happened today. How was your day? What happened today? Because they're going to be thinking about their job and the security too. So the job is security. Hopefully they're competent enough, especially people who've been hired by this company to carry firearms to protect their business. Hopefully those people are aware of their surroundings too, and like, what? Actually, saw this or this. Some dude was walking through the parking lot a couple times, but whatever. And yeah, the observation that you had touched on is going to be key for me going into a solo security. Maybe I'm waiting for my guys to show back up, or maybe because there should have been more security detail. He was in the bathroom. I don't know where he was. He was somewhere. I would have waited for him to be with me at the time. I would have probably watched the cameras, because I guarantee you they have a security room with cameras and monitors to kind of do your pre-security thing. Well, you're outside securing an ATM which is interesting, because the details of this case, it's so kind of up in the air. They don't, there's this and there's a little bit of that. The details are just, I don't know, they're cloudy, so it's hard to actually think about it. But yeah, you're going to be looking through the security footage, not footage, but you're just look at live camera footage first before you go on your round. 11:30 at night, you're securing things, you're locking things down. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do a quick gear analysis, gear assessment. Make sure I have everything ready, everything's good to go, and like you said, you go through a doorway, you're gonna keep your head on a swivel, you're gonna look around, you're gonna be observant of everything, because that is your job, is to be observant. You're protecting the property. You've been hired to do this job as a security guard, and you're gonna go about your business. And if a dude walks up, there's a lot of footage of this area where he was attacked. He's in a wide open area where the ATMs would provide him with cover. It's a wide open area. It's well lit, and so he has the ability to walk a few steps and turn around. You walk a few steps and turn around. My brothers were telling me during, and this is what I was thinking. Every time on a patrol, when they were in the Marine Corps, they were in a patrol in Africa. The last guy in the platoon on a patrol would turn around every 5 steps, or every 10 steps.
Oh, okay.
He would turn around and he would observe behind them. Every 5 to 10 steps, this guy would rotate and turn around, because that was his job. So I implement that while I'm hunting, while I'm doing walking, like on a trail, like out in the woods. I'm just hiking or I'm doing stuff. I do that because I want to know what's around me. And it takes every 10 steps, I'll turn around and just observe what's behind me. That's all it takes. The observation, the situational awareness, threat analysis. You're a security guard. Your threat analysis should be going 24/7. I mean,
Right.
we should always be considering that there's a threat, because I mean, you're a security guard, you have a firearm, and you're protecting a bank with money. And during this time of people it's struggling, man, crime's going to go up.
Oh yeah.
Crime's going to
Oh
go
yeah.
up. So you expect more crime. And we can't just beat
Yes.
this. I mean,
It's
we
kind
could
of
beat
funny.
this horse to, I mean, it's just, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and it's kind of funny you say that about hunting. I never really even thought about that, but yeah, I guess that's because not that I mean, it is a little bit eerie or creepy sometimes because Yodis and whatever out and that's out here. But yeah, as you're walking, you don't take very many steps before you turn around, kind of looking. I don't, anyways, and I'm scanning, even though I can't see very far because I'm typically walking. If any light, it's the moonlight or whatever. I might use a red light maybe, but I'm typically just walking by feel, I guess. But I still turn around. I don't know if it's just to orient myself a little bit. But now that you mention it, as soon as you said hunting, I started thinking about my walks out all the time, and I do. I'll walk a little ways and turn and stuff.
Yeah.
So you should, I guess, be doing it off of just sheer, common sense maybe
It's a good
again, or
habit to form if if you're if you're on a hike or something, or if you're hunting. It's a good habit. But if you're patrolling, if you're a patrol, you're going to do that because someone might be flanking. Somebody might be, walking up on your six. And it's that
right.
if you're alone, you will probably want to be doing that a little bit more often. I don't know. But like I said, there's no reason the guy shouldn't have saw the threat coming. There's no reason he shouldn't have seen the threat coming. Had he been completely ninja'd by this guy, with whatever, and like you said, that firearm's strapped in and in good, especially if
Yeah.
it's open and he's a security guard. He probably needs to present himself as a security guard and have it open, and so he doesn't look like a perpetrator or a criminal or like that, to a police
Right.
officer that drives by. So yeah, his gear might be a problem. So I don't know. Yeah, if you got that snap, if the wrestle ensues, the guy the guy's not going to be able to just unsnap it unless he's going for it and blindside you on his way for it. Because that kind of feels like what had happened. He was
Right.
blindsided as the guy was like targeting the pistol, like he was going for the firearm no matter what. So, and it could have been one of those Kydex ones where you just push the button and it comes right out. It could
Right.
be like I said, it's a speculation at this point, but you can carry in your waistband, your everyday carry. Let's talk about it for just a second. Your everyday carry isn't just a pistol. Everyday carry is what I would consider, is like I and a lot of people in the prepping community consider um, the situation, or your ability to handle things as it comes. And it doesn't have to be a pistol. It can be a knife, a pistol. It can be a tourniquet. It can be extra things, a flashlight. Those are all EDC stuff. All that's EDC stuff, and that all should be rotated in and trained with in your routines. It should be there, and your situation is going to, where you're going, your environment that you're going in is going to dictate what you bring. So your EDC everyday carry isn't always going to be the same gear. You're going to like have a loadout. Like, this is where I'm
Right.
going today. This is what I should take for this situation or this opportunity or whatever. And that should be the person's thoughts. So,
Right.
I mean, like
So I
that.
don't know if you have any experience with it, or if it would help, or if anybody else has any experience with it. I've never used one. I've kind of considered trying it one time, but I don't think that it. I can't seem like I like the way it orients. orientates or whatever, but like a chest rig setup. I've seen people carrying pistols up here on a chest rig. I don't know if that would help during this situation at all. I don't know if they're comfortable or very actually like usable there. I can't think of the right word. Like is it correct way to carry there? Like is it actually feasible? Is that a good way to run something? I thought about just going ahead and strapping one on my chest on one of my rigs and just seeing how it works because I've got a couple different plate carriers. I got I think 3 different plate carriers. So I thought about like strapping one up here just to see how it works and how I run it, and if I can run it functionally at the shooting range and everything. And I don't know if anybody has any opinions about that, and let me know on that too. Or
I
Harlan,
do.
if you have any
I
opinions
have
on it.
one. I have what across. Yeah, I've got one. It's a holster. It's more on my. It's on my rig rather than on my side, like
Okay,
you just
yeah,
said, and it's off to the side a little bit. So, but the button, as it unsnaps, you can pull it out, and it's got a Velcro thing too, so you can. It's double. It's Velcroed and snapped in, so you can either have it um, in a ready position where the snap is undone, so it's only Velcro, or you can
right.
have it snapped and Velcroed there, so it's a tight fit and it sits kind of nice right on the ribs over here, and the magazines are on the chest up here.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
The extra mags, and I have one of the magazine holder. There's three magazine pouches, but one of them has my tourniquet in it, and that one is specific to that tourniquet only. Like this is a
Okay,
tourniquet pouch, not a magazine pouch. Like so I can keep in
right.
my mind if I need to get to my tourniquet, it's right next to me, right here, the closest magazine pouch on it. And then
Okay, yeah.
there's AR pouches, but I've got AK mags in them. They kind of stick out a little funny, but
Yep, they do.
it,
They
it
don't quite
still
fit quite
works.
right, but
It still
come out
works.
fairly
So
good.
anyway, yeah, you're just gonna like kit out your stuff to where it fits you, it fits your circumstance, your scenario, where you're going, what you're doing, and it can change based on this the environment. And that's really what I want to stress on so much is that like the focus of the main takeaway of this whole thing is situational awareness, your everyday carry, and your responsibility as a person, not only to yourself but to your family, to other citizens who are responsible people, and law enforcement or EMS. You don't want to put them at risk because you made the wrong decision by going to an ATM at 2:30 in the morning to deposit a check when you're in a sketchy part of town and there's some stuff happening. It's like, go to a different place. Go to one inside of a store.
Yeah.
Wait till the next day. It can always wait a little bit. You don't have to do that. Um, don't put responders at risk too because you made a bad decision.
Yes.
That's an important thing too because you're freeing up them to go take care of other business rather than come and take care of a person who just was complacent and going on their lives based on like habits and routines and stuff like that, where it's just like you get this tunnel vision. We've all got it. I've got it sometimes. But
Oh
I'm
yeah.
working my way out of it. We can all do the same thing. And then I think I lost my train of thought because I was going to just kind of end it with something, but I think that's good enough, man. I think we've, I think we've covered this. This is really good. It's really important. It's a gem that AJ and I have stumbled across. ATM robberies are on the rise, and our situational awareness is going to be key in the future. In the days and months to come. wherever
Yeah,
we
the
go.
worse, the worse
Wherever
it
we go,
gets.
predators are out there. This guy was unarmed and took on a security guard with a pistol. Okay, they're getting more. They're getting brave, and so they're preying on people. Even though they don't have tactics, they don't have training. They still their training is predatorial training, and that right there is instinctive in criminals. Okay,
Yes.
predatorial training for somebody. You can watch it in videos where people are ambushed by criminals with zero training, but they're ambushed in a way that looks tactical. And so you have to realize that the more that they prey on people, the better they get at it. Okay, so and that's their job. That's their job, just like my job is to fix water main breaks. I get better at it every day. AJ, your job is to deal with deal with people. You do all kinds of cool stuff. And you get better at it every day because that's your job. They're
Right.
criminals. They get better at making victims their job. Anyway, what do we got?
Yeah.
Ghetto, what are we saying here, bud? I can't read that. It's too small, man.
It says that it says the system doesn't care about the law. Then why should they basically the criminals? Why should they care about the law if the system doesn't care about it?
Right,
And that's why
right,
they're more brazen.
right.
And he's right. And
Ghetto, yeah, that's right. That's why it's our responsibility to be our first responders and first responders to everybody else, because there's places like in Seattle and Oregon over the past few years that they won't send police in there. They won't send them. So we are our responders. Absolutely.
yeah,
So it's our responsibility as citizens to conduct ourselves in a way that improve the environment around us in a safe way. Anyway.
yeah, I agree. There's man, and the crime's just going to keep going up like crazy from here on out. I think there's no not to sound doom and gloomy age, but it doesn't look like there's a very bright future here.
No.
Not in the near future anyway. So as this continues to go downhill, the crime's just going to raise and raise and raise because and there's no punishment for them. If you look around in most places, there's no real true punishment for them anymore. Hell, a lot of places ain't even arresting criminals that are doing.
Dude, in California, there was an incentive that paid criminals not to steal.
Yeah. Really?
Okay. All right. What? It's just, it just feels, it's just going to get worse. Yeah. So plan for the worst, but what's the old saying? I'd rather have it and not use it, or
Then you not have it.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, definitely. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it. Or, yeah, need it and not have it.
Right. And so the information that we're sharing is about, all the gear and stuff is great, all the guides, but, the knowledge that you have about the situations and about your circumstances and how to use your gear is way better. Way better.
Yeah.
And so repetition and train and be observant everywhere you go, people. So I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna head on out. I love you guys. I thank you guys all for joining. AJ and I appreciate you all. So
Yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody too. I'm gonna keep talking
don't
just
be
for
a
a minute,
victim.
Hartley. Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a
All right, man.
fucking
Hartley,
victim.
appreciate you coming on here, man. As always, it's I really have a good time when you come on here and help out. So you make it entertaining and definitely always got a lot of good information. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep talking just for a few minutes though. You go do your thing and stay safe, brother.
Hey, you too, man. Gotta go. See y'all, folks. Love y'all. Have a good night.
Have fun, man. Hey, Ghetto, I tried to get a hold of you there, brother. I don't know if I just didn't have the right thing or what for your email and stuff, but I could try to get back on your YouTube and send you my information again. If you want to get on here and do it live, that'd be super cool. We could do the one we was talking about. If not, just let me know or whatever. A lot of times I second guess myself whether I sent it correctly or not. So just let me know if you got it either way, and we can kind of go from there. But yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody showing up tonight and hanging out for a little bit. Um, y'all stay safe. Have a good night. And if you guys have any ideas for any of these hindsights, let us know, man, and we'll get to working on it. So with that being said, I'm gonna hop off here too. I got some chores to finish up, and then I will see you guys next time around. There we go.